Got my Onewheel Plus 1 year review. I was saying how nice it is to be able to ride it on the gravel. It's very intuitive to ride, and the biggest thing to be careful of is going too fast. This has a top speed of 19 miles an hour, and then what it'll do is you're getting close to that top speed, the front of the board will rise up. It's called pushback. It's very important to pay attention to that, because otherwise the board will shut down. It'll just shut off, and it'll nosedive, and you'll go flying off the front and into the pavement, and it hurts. I've done it twice. I wear a full face bicycle helmet when I ride this thing, long pants, long sleeves, gloves. So when I wrecked, that was the first night I had it. Of course, I didn't read anything. I'd ridden my neighbor kid's board, and so I've been looking at them. I wanted to buy one, and then I got to ride his. I'm like, I'm ordering one. So I ordered a pint, and then that was back ordered. And I'm like, well, I'm not waiting until July for this stupid thing. And then called Anchorage shop up there, had a Onewheel Plus that they made me a good deal on. It was brand new, it was a leftover because the XR had just come out. So I got a really good deal on this Onewheel Plus. And then I was riding. So that night, I get it, riding it, and I don't know, didn't pay attention. So I'm going top speed and shut off, and oh, I slammed into the pavement. It hurt. Skinned up my legs, skinned up my, still got a scar on my arm. And that was with long sleeves. And so that hurt. The hardest thing on a Onewheel for me, it seems like everybody that has tried mine, is to get off it. So this isn't the intuitive part. Riding it is, lean forward you go, lean backwards, you slow down and stop. Forward to go, backwards to stop. Now, what they tell you is to get the board to shut off, you lean backwards, lift your heel off the board. There, that worked. So you've got two pressure pads here, sensor pads I should say, and you're lifting your heel off. That doesn't always work. I was doing this earlier today. That actually seemed to work pretty good, but it was a harder move. But anyway, that's the biggest thing, is trying to get off it. It can be difficult. So I'm at 82%, and then what you can do, delirium, here's your settings. So on a Onewheel, you've got your different settings. You've got Sequoia, which is your base, your beginner setting. Then you've got cruise, mission. This one's pretty good if you're going for like longer distance. Elevated, I was just using that one. It works best for off-road. Delirium, this is the highest performance stock setting. And then butter, that's what I named it. This is a custom setting, and what you can do is you can change the parameters of what you want. Carvability, aggressiveness. I like it all super loose, and then I have it set 1 degree for nose high. Anyway, so I'm going to run in butter, and I like the feel of that on the bike path. So let's do a little bit of carving. Okay, so 1 year review. There's not a whole lot to say. I mean, if you're in the market for a Onewheel, I think it's a super fun thing to have. It's a toy, but you can use it for commuting. I use it commuting to work. Use it for just playing on, goofing around. It's its own thing. You can ride it off-road, which is super fun. Ride it on a bike path. On pavement, this is actually where I like best. Just carving around, just checking stuff out. It's just a real kind of mellow, relaxing thing a guy can do. So if you're trying to figure out which Onewheel should you buy, you got your choice now for brand new between the XR, which is like $1,800, that's pretty spendy, or the Pint, which I think is $950. But the Pint has the same range as this thing does, which is only 6 to 8 miles. It's a smaller board, and it also has a smaller diameter wheel, which means it's not going to go off-road as well as one of these. So if your area or what you planning on doing is going to include some off-road stuff, I'd recommend just getting a bigger board. And I'll show you a little trick. So I get over here, what a guy could do if your legs are starting to bother, you're getting tired. Because sometimes your feet will hurt. Switch. And then ride the other way. I taught myself how to ride goofy foot. And it's made me extend my rides by twice the distance. The tire lasts 1,000 miles is what I was reading on their site or in my owner's manual. And I'll show you what this tire looks like here. We're looking at 430 some miles. You can see where I got a rock stuck last summer. Got stuck between the fender and the tire, and I heard this pretty good noise, and then it finally kicked it out, but that's actually wearing through now. So I got a lot of life left on this tire. And it's just a tubeless tire. If you deal with if you can change your four-wheeler and ATV tire, you can change this tire. Not going to be that hard. Then you got your bearings in there, so eventually a guy will have to deal with those. I think that's really it. There's nothing really else that you're going to have to do to it. Then you get to ride. See how quiet it is. And this is where I like the Onewheel Plus or the XR size boards compared to a pint, or like a boost board if you're into electric skateboards. You can go off-road. So I mean, you're not going to go riding it down a mud trail or anything like that, but anywhere it's relatively smooth, the board will do just fine. You're probably going to hear a rock once in a while get flung up on the fender, get kicked out, like right there. So if I had any issues with this thing, I've not. Basically, I just charge it up and I check the tire pressure, the air pressure in the tire. I ran an experiment a while back, last summer. I put in, I forget, I pumped the tire up pretty hard, and I got better range, but oh my gosh, it rode terrible. It's amazing the difference. The tire soaks up a lot. I mean, there's no suspension, and when that tire was pumped up too hard, it just was unpleasant to ride. And then I lowered the pressure back to, I think it's 20 psi stock, and then it was nice and carved, you know, it would carve and just handled and rode way better. So the biggest con about the Onewheel Plus, and this we go for the pints as well, is the range, 6 to 8 miles. And that usually will work out to like a 35-45 minute long ride, depending on how fast I'm going, and you know, if I stop, because after a while your legs will get tired. One of your feet might get cramped up or start burning, you know, but still, once your endurance builds up, you can ride the thing until the battery runs out. And that's where I'm at with this one. As I start getting annoyed, I get range anxiety. Like, okay, how far can I go? I got 50%, I need to turn around. And usually, if more conservative, I like to turn around before 50%. So let's see. Oh, I got a notification. I hope that isn't the... Oh crap, 50% already? Are you serious? I mean, so it goes into alarm. 47%. So I'm heading back. So there you go. So that's a drag. I thought I could make it further up this road, and I can't. So there's a slight downhill grade. Maybe, oh look, I'm getting 3% regen. Maybe I'll put a little bit more into it. Anyhow, so that was like perfect timing when we talk about range. So that's my biggest con with this thing, is just the lack of range. But the problem is, when I leave, I have to go down another gravel road that's really bumpy, and that just eats a ton of my battery. It'll use like 12% of the battery sometimes. So you're already starting off at a deficit. So the fix to that is to buy the XR, and that's what I did the other day. I ordered it, so I will do it up another video to review that and contrast it with my Onewheel Plus. But my recommendation is, if a guy is going to get into this, I think you should get the full-size board, unless you live like somewhere where all you're going to do is pavement or a city, or you just don't see yourself riding it very far. But what's funny is, once you get into it, it's just a fun toy to take out, and you know, you just want to go do something, you just grab your Onewheel, it's ready to go, and yeah, you're just out carving around. It's just fun. And it's a good workout too, because I can feel the tops of my thighs right now are already starting to burn. And this surface here is a lot harder to ride than smooth pavement. You're getting a lot, let me see if I can get video of this board moving around under my feet. It just has a lot of more unevenness, so it really keeps you keeps you on your toes. It's not hard by any means. The board's pretty amazing. However, it works to compensate. I don't know, but it works really well. So once I get on the pavement, I'm going to switch stance. I'm going to go ride goofy foot, just because my legs are starting to, they're starting to get tired, because I'm having to stay kind of low on this type of surface. So I'm going to switch stances here, get a break from kind of just stretch things out. There we go. Yeah, once you're riding it, if you don't already know how, I didn't, teaching yourself how to ride the other way, it's super handy, because then your rides can go a lot longer. Then your neck's, you're just using the other part of your body, because my neck will start hurting facing the one direction for a long time. But then I switched to riding goofy foot, and it's like you're balancing yourself. All right, so we're at 32%, 3.2 miles, 32. I think I'll ride bike path. Yeah, I'll be fine. So I always got to be thinking, am I gonna be able to make it home? I've had to, in the wintertime, I tried this out in another video, and the snowpack between the tire and the fender, and it quit working. It couldn't go, and I had to carry it, and this thing is heavy to carry. It's not any fun. It's like 25 pounds, it's a chunk. Well, to summarize my review, for what I paid for the board, like I said, I got a good deal, because they were listed at $1,400 when they were available and brand new, and I got it for quite a bit less than that. So for what I paid, I'm really happy. Like I say, the biggest complaint I have is the range, and initially it didn't bother me that much, but now that I'm able to ride it a lot further, just from building up my endurance, now it's really annoying to me, because I want to go on a lot longer rides. And so yeah, so the XR, when that comes in, that's gonna make me pretty happy. So that'd be the biggest thing. If you're looking at buying one of these, you could find, if you want, a guy finds one used, or I bet you that you can still find brand new ones that are leftovers. And compare that to the Pint. The Pint still has the same crappy 6 to 8 mile range, so something to keep in mind. But otherwise, as I say, it's a real fun toy. You get a workout while you use it.